ask me how you've been doing, I say I really don't know. I don't keep up with you. It's not the way that I wanted. It was so hard to let go. The only thing I could do. No, I don't talk about you anymore. No, I don't think about you anymore. It hurts if I let my guard down, get choked up and waste the day. Guess I'm not over it yet. Sometimes I see you around town, and I have nothing to say. I just have all this regret. No, I don't talk about you